the world could be going on in a place like that?
Just as Jessica had said. What? Why? Why? I fucking...
Oh, okay.
No, take it.
Just as Jessica had said, they began to see a storehouse in front of them. They could also see the adults there. The shutter to the storehouse was open, and several adults looked as though they were searching for something. For some reason, only Natsuhi was outside the storehouse, without even holding an umbrella. She looked like she was hanging her head, and her back was facing them. There was Genji, Nanjo, and Natsuhi, who had just left the mansion. The ones who left earlier, Ken, Eva, and Hideyoshi were also there, making for a small crowd of people, but there was absolutely no bustle of activity. When Natsuhi realized that the children were approaching, a terrible expression rose to her face, and she ran at them with her arms spread wide.
You mustn't come any closer! Come back! Go
Go back.
back!
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Just go. Just take it. Just take it.
Got it.
You mustn't come any closer! Go back to the mansion!
But despite that, no, because of that, the kids saw the scene Natsuhi was trying to keep them away from.
And...
Inside the storehouse with its shutter wide open, a faint fluorescent light shone down. And right there was...
I think this is me?
I think that maybe...
It's everybody, maybe? I don't know.
everyone
Oh, the kids. Oh, yeah, you and Jessica.
Oh, Jessica's.
Oh!
No, we're still right. Yeah, still right.
I want Badler to be the one who screamed.
Yeah, sorry, dude.
Jessica's piercing shriek rang out. But that was just because Jessica's scream was the loudest. The same thing spilled out of Valor.
Yeah, it was all. But just Jessica's the loudest, obviously.
We laughed to cover up trauma.
Eva spread her arms just like Natsuhi, roaring at the kids with a bone-chilling expression on her face.
George, take everyone and return to the mansion. Quickly! Right now!
When Natsuhi spread her arms...
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, you better. It's yours.
Yeah,
Okay. When Natsuhi spread her arms, I thought she was trying to prevent us from advancing any further. But that wasn't why Ava was spreading her arms right now.
By the way, this music.
Wanna see what it is?
Extremely intense.
She was trying to stop us kids from seeing that terrible scene. It was her mother's heart, trying to protect the eyes and hearts of us children by blocking our view of that terrible scene by at least the width of one of her arms. Is this some kind of joke? Is it?
Oh.
I'd seen this kind of cheap scene all too often. In manga, TV, anime, and movies. I'd seen it over and over again. This was just seeing something appear in real life that I'd seen plenty of times before in some of those more sensational movies, right? That alone shouldn't... But that suit... That's the whole bastards, isn't it? I get it then. That's Uncle Kraus. And Kiri-san. And Aunt Rosa. Dad!
Sorry, I got into it. I know you did.
I'm too into this.
Pull out, Beta.
Pull out.
He answers that.
Go ahead, Zara.
Dad! Dad!
You mustn't, Jessica! You mustn't go in! You mustn't go! I mean, you mustn't look!
Rigor mortis has set in across almost the entire body.
Most likely 6 hours or more have passed since death. As far as I can tell by looking at the damaged area, there is a high probability that they were damaged after their deaths. No, I must watch what I say. I'm a general practitioner. Examining corpses is outside my area of expertise.
Fuck. So what's going on here? Just killing them wasn't enough, so they went on to do something like this? The devil! This here is the work of the devil!
Natsa, he caught Jessica in her arms, and Ava caught George Haneke. Though I was the only one who could approach the entrance to the storehouse. If only there'd been someone there to catch me too. I wouldn't have needed to have this horrible, evil scene burned into my eyes. No, that's not it. It isn't that there's no one here to catch me. The people who should catch me, they're right there, aren't they? Just as Jessica said, it did look like a storehouse for gardening tools. A lawnmower with extra blades, a grass sickle, and a hammer. Some carpentry tools such as a saw.
Ouch.
Filled up potted plants and bags of fertilizer. And treated just the same. The corpses of several people had been laid to rest there. No, had been tossed in there! I could tell them by their clothes. That old bastard and Kiri-san, Uncle Kraus and Aunt Rosa. Beyond that, Goda-san and... There's still more of them! How many people died?
6.
You're fucking kidding me! It's more than I can count on one hand! Damn it! I didn't know whether it had been one of these gardening tools, which if used for something other than their intended purpose, could definitely be wielded with the naked brutality. Or whether some horrible tool had been brought in here specifically for this. Anyway, each one of the bodies jammed in here had been given an atrocious makeup. It wasn't makeup. It was more like their faces had been plowed. Their faces were smashed and forced into expressions that normal people couldn't even make after death. I couldn't tell where the eyes or the noses were. I couldn't find their mouths. But I could find their mouths. Because they were gaping wide, their gums exposed. Their front teeth were missing. And even the cheeks that should have covered all this were torn up and laid bare. The trendy makeup you always spend so much time on, even though you're a man, isn't doing a thing now! Dad! I always thought you were going to hell, but still, not like this, right? You weren't such a son of a bitch, and you shouldn't have to suffer so brutally. And Kiri-san, didn't I tell you to stop going out with this guy? There's absolutely no reason for you to end up like this too! They've got no faces! No faces! Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! Ah!
Battler, son, you mustn't look anymore. There's no way your mother and father would want you to see them like this. For their sakes, you mustn't look anymore.
Dead people are supposed to have faces that look like they're sleeping peacefully, right? They've got no faces! My dad and Kiri-san have no faces! I don't even know what kind of faces they were wearing when they died! What's wrong with me? Will I have to see these smashed monster-like faces every time I remember them? That's just great. I didn't want to remember that old bastard's smug face anyway! Just great! Just great! But why even Kiri-san's face? Kiri-san wasn't a crook. Sure, she ticked me off a bit now and then, but she was like a cool big sister to me. This is wrong. This is all wrong! At least Uncle Kraus has it better, doesn't he? It's not his whole face, just the side. At least he's got half his face left, right? It's still better! It's still better! No!
Wait, no, okay, that was...
Oh, fuck.
No, I don't understand why you did that anyway.
Damn!
That, okay, Beta,
Hey.
fucking applause. That was an amazing performance. I'm in tears.
That was
man.
amazing.
I have been waiting for that for so fucking long.
Oh, there's more mental breakdown.
I know, that was amazing.
Not the first one.
I know, it's not probably not gonna be the
Kind
first
of
one.
Welcome,
Hey, gracias,
Saya.
you mean Echo. Welcome.
Yep, okay, go ahead, Ty. Use your no, by the way.
Well, no, it's narration, actually.
No, the first
No,
one.
you,
The first one
no,
that we
it's
had
yours.
bad
I
actually.
took that by accident.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Because she's hearing what he's saying about her dad.
Yeah. Yeah. So different.
Yes?
Yes, you there?
Alright.
What? No, that's his.
No,
It's your narration.
The narration.
No, it's mine. It's
Oh,
mine.
it's me. Yeah, it is me. My
Trying to
bad.
shut out mine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Brian. Yeah, okay, sorry, Beta.
Jessica filled her ears with the sound. Jessica filled her ears with the sound of her own screaming, trying to shut out my reckless words.
Stop it, Massacre! Just stop it! Just stop it!
Aniki! Aniki! Ah! Disregarding age and appearance, I fell to my knees, clinging to Aniki's waist and sobbing. It was as if I was crying on behalf of everyone there, representing the feelings of everyone there. I screamed over and over.
Yeah, that was a really good emotional scene right there.
Jesus Christ.
Meanwhile, Maria
like
watching
actors
TV.
are
Yeah, Marie watching TV.
Meanwhile, Maria
literally-
watching TV.
I literally
going,
just like, wait, I'm sorry, just because I'm a voice acting nut, I have to talk about it. So, I literally just like, does anyone here know Austin Tyndall?
Yes.
I think so.
Yes,
He's
I
the
li-
voice actor who did the English dub voice of Kaneki. Literally, that whole scene, I was just channeling him for like,
Yeah.
just thinking. I literally was just playing back and back the scene of Kaneki getting like tortured in Tokyo Ghoul.
Oh, Jesus.
Doesn't
Okay.
voice your evil.
Centipede.
Father,
Oh man.
the ones lying dead, lying over there, are Uncle Kraus, Uncle Rudolph, Aunt Kiri, and Aunt Rosa, and Goda-san. Just those 5, right?
No.
No. There are 6 people. There's one more person over here.
Called it! Leon, you
okay.
owe me money.
Shit. You said you were betting, though.
I never said I was banking.
Oh, that's what Hyper said.
I didn't say.
shit
I didn't
about
say. I said I wouldn't take a bet on it.
Hold
I
on,
have
let's see
no
who it
boundaries.
is.
Here's the thing. I already know who.
Quiet.
It is, so
Let's
kind of
wait.
make it
Okay. Okay.
Is this a narration or ballad?
I'll take it for now because
Right.
I still am like literally clinging to George's leg. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's yours.
The body Hideyoshi was looking down on now happened to be hidden amongst the shadows in that mountain range of objects, in a blind spot to George, who stood by the entrance, so George couldn't tell whose body it was. So, George cursed himself. He cursed the fact that his worst guesses always turned out to be right.
So, the one lying at your feet is Shannon, isn't it?
Yes, it's Shannon-chan.
Oh
George fell completely silent. He shook slightly, his lower lip trembling.
no! Oh, and these two. No one knew about Shannon and George, their relationship.
Normally, he would have wanted to run to his beloved's body, screaming and crying. However, before rashly rushing forward, he worked to keep his composure and asked his father.
Is Shannon the same as Uncle Kraus and the others?
Hideyoshi deeply understood the meaning of those words, so he couldn't give George an immediate answer. Or rather, he felt that silence was the only sincere and loving response he could give George right now. When George asked if Shannon was the same, he meant to ask whether her corpse was in the same condition as the others or not. Since Hideyoshi hadn't denied it, it meant her corpse was in the same brutal state.
Can I look at Shannon?
No, you can't.
Why not? After all, I won't be able to see Shannon's face again, right? So why won't you let me see what her face looked like at the end?
The last time you met Shannon-chan was yesterday, right?
Yes.
I see. When you left her, what kind of face was she showing you?
It was a wonderful smile.
After he handed her the ring, she hesitated even though she must have already made up her mind. Then she looked bashful and ran away because she was embarrassed to let him see her face looking like that. That's the expression that was revived in George's mind.
I see. Then I'm sure Shannon-chan would want to leave you with that smile in your memory.
Hideyoshi looked down upon Shannon's body lying at his feet. Just like the other bodies, it was in such a horrible state that it'd make anyone want to cover their eyes. Her head had been smashed in from the side, and no more than half of her expression remained. If the remaining blood-soaked half of her expression had been wiped clean, would that graceful smile of hers have peeked out? But only half of it. Without thinking, Hideyoshi slapped his hands over his eyes. How
Ow.
brutal.
I don't know.
Yeah.
If her face was going to be crushed anyway, then only half. Then, if only all of it had been crushed, he might have been able to temporarily distract George from his pain by making the pathetic suggestion that it was someone else wearing Shannon's clothes. But half of her face had been left untouched. It caused the body so much humiliation, while still proving beyond a doubt that the body was Shannon's and no one else's. How inhuman. How brutish. And there, trying his best to burn the image of the remaining half of Shannon's expression into his eyes, as she lay at Hideyoshi's feet, was Kanan.
The brother.
Kanan was not crying. Tears had risen to his eyes, but they did not drip down. But that didn't mean he wasn't feeling as much sadness as everyone else. Losing Shannon, who had lived with him in the same orphanage, whom he had loved as a sister, must have been just the same as losing a blood relative.
George, I'm sure Shannon Chen is saying thank you. She must be glad you didn't end up seeing her in such a pitiful state. I'm sure she's thanking you for holding strong and showing restraint.
I understand. I understand, Father. I understand.
George leaned against the outside wall of the storehouse, crouching down limply.
Father, I have a request.
What is it?
I want you to look for me. Is there a ring on Shannon's finger?
A ring? Let me see.
Hideyoshi crouched down. As he did, Conan silently pointed to one of Shannon's hands.
Yeah, there is. It's a diamond ring. With a valuable diamond. Must have been pretty expensive.
And which hand and which finger is it on?
The ring finger of her left hand. I see. So Shannon Chan was engaged?
George. Don't tell me you.
Eva! That doesn't matter now! A man made a lifelong promise to Shannon Chan. A man promised her happiness for life. Who that man was isn't the issue here.
Oh, this is still, Eunice.
Okay. Being told that by a man is a woman's dream, isn't it? I don't know when she received this ring. I also don't know who gave it to her. However, even so, Shannon Chan took this ring. Then she accepted it and put it on her left ring finger. I'm sure the man who gave it to her was also happy.
To most of the people there, Hideyoshi was simply disturbed by this extraordinary situation and was blurting out nonsense. However, someone who knew of George and Shannon's true relationship would understand the full meaning of these words.
I see. Thank you, Father.
George stood up. The traces of tears still streaked his face, but his expression had returned to its usual calm one.
Let's go. Battle Lacoon. Jessica-chan. If we stay here any longer, we'll get in the way of the adults.
You're right.
Jessica sniffled once more, showing her face to her mother, who had been holding her the whole time, to let her know she was okay now.
Thank you for the host, Vanguard, for the 4. Welcome in. It's awkward timing, but...
Oh, Vanguard, you missed some shit, dude.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Aw.
You need to watch back in the VOD later when you have time.
Oh yeah, well,
Okay,
I'm gonna
my
go back. I'll go back and
view of
highlight that Kai
Shannon
thing because that is fucking amazing.
out the window.
Exactly. Shannon is not the one controlled by
Okay.
This
So,
mood,
Told you it's Maria.
Oh, nothing.
Watch
We're
that.
continuing.
Yeah.
does this mood make anyone else's gut feel like it's tied in knots?
No,
It's everyone. Yeah.
No,
it's
it made my
fine.
lungs feel like they're tied in
No.
knots after what I did.
Yeah, you kind of.
I am over here just crying.
Yeah, same.
There's a rock in my
Goddess was
stomach.
practicing.
Alright. I. When she faced George again, she once again had on her usual expression. Although she still couldn't smile.
Excuse me.
Okay, that's what I thought it was. It's a raid, but the went hosting first, so.
Probably just
Okay.
lagging on Streamlabs.
Yeah, but anyway, this has been what this is the reason these games have so well, despite the whole art style from before, is the fact of how well written they are.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I need to finish playing Higurashi for this matter.
I was playing a bit of it before, like the first one there, but
I need to.
the start part of that is very slow. Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, it is.
Anyway, let's keep going.
Battler, hang in there.
Okay, Ness, you can take this.
Battler kept on crouching in front of his parents' bodies.
I'm sorry. Crying like hell calms me down. You bastard, Dad. I bet you're laughing at me. After all that shit I talked about you, here I am crying like a baby just 'cause he died. Well, so what? I guess I just got the gene that makes you cry when your parents kick the bucket.
Oh fuck, Battler
If
can
you
watch.
didn't guess the time you walked in, 6 people just died. So yeah, that's why it's very emotional.
Vanguard, this is why you missed some shit.
But no, welcome in regardless, and yeah. So we're feeling kind of like emotional, but we're still enjoying this so much.
Oh dear.
Who
I love it.
replaced
I love it.
Natsui?
I love it.
Yeah.
This is making me wanna host the goddamn visual novel now. Fuck you.
Who replaced Natsui?
Battler's face was still bright red from the tears, but he at least recovered enough to fake a smile, if only a bitter one.
Like, I hadn't asked me to do this shot either. Shot?
Kanako. You
I
must
think you meant shit
here.
and it auto-corrected.
Okay.
Canyon. You mustn't remain here any longer either.
What the?
Take the children and return
Salty?
to the neighborhood.
Salty raided with a party of 5 as well.
Yay,
Welcome in,
Salty! Hey, what's up?
Hi.
Play
Everyone's
Minecraft.
coming right after the big climactic moment. Jesus.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
New
well,
viewers, go watch the VOD.
what I'll do, I'll highlight that whole section there and put that as,
YouTube,
as an
yeah.
option. Yeah, YouTube and also just the Twitch
Yeah.
itself, because that was a really good acting from your part there. So yeah,
Thank you.
From everyone in that part.
and from everyone.
It
doing
was
that
just,
section.
yeah, no, everyone just.
Oh.
My boy!
Oh,
How'd you go with mine? How did you
Alright,
do with mine,
can we
by the
go
way?
back to the
Sorry.
novel?
Yours,
please?
hold on, I'm complimenting people.
Father and son moment, dude. Come on, our father and son.
No, I liked how you played yours off, Hyper, because, like, George is the type of character who's, like, he's crying and all, but he's trying to still stay calm and collected, so, like, yours fit better for that character not being, like, the overacted panic that I had, you know?
Yeah, because yours was reacting like that better.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay.
Well,
Why did I
yours,
do
like,
in
you
my
tried
part,
to
guys,
keep, you
being
were
a corpse?
somber and...
Being
Well, you stayed quiet, so you good.
Everybody, I thought they wanted fish.
Hell yeah.
it's all good. Okay.
Alright.
Alright, let's get going.
Alright.
So, you did it all.
Yeah,
earlier?
she read that part, yeah.
Yeah.
Natsuhi had been standing under the rain this whole time, unable to take a step into the storehouse. Maybe she had her own way of grieving, different from Battler's. Realizing that she had to take on a role of responsibility now that her husband was dead, she gave Cannon those orders.
Yes, madam.
Cannon rose silently and turned to...
Wait, that's you.
No,
Wait.
is
Oh, yeah,
this
yeah.
me?
Yeah, it's you, yeah.
Alright.
Well, either one.
Cannon rose silently and turned to face me. His face was pure white, almost as though his own heart had died along with Shannon. And there was no life in his expression. On an ordinary day, if he had been told to guide the children through the beautiful rose garden, Cannon might have led the way. But now, there was no distinction between Cannon and the children. They were just now kids, of about the same age, suffering the pain of losing those close to them. Okay, I think this is supposed to be back to you.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
so weird how they switch
Yeah,
the language.
you're switching back.
I mean, that's okay.
Yeah.
After making sure that the children were leaving, Natsuhi started giving orders to Genji.
Genji, the contact the police immediately. They probably won't able to come until the typhoon passes. But they should be able to tell us what to do next.
Wait!
What?
The phone lines got cut. How are they gonna contact police?
They won't.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Well, okay, I imagine, right, okay.
Oh.
Emergency radio, so I will
Yeah,
Is
use
a
well,
radio
exactly.
signal gonna get through in a storm like this? I don't.
I don't know, we'll see, we'll see, we'll see.
We'll see.
Understood. There's an emergency radio, so I will use that to contact them.
When she heard that, Natsuhi remembered. That's right. The phones were out today. Wait, not you. Wait. Oh, wait, never mind. That's right. The phones were out today, weren't they? However, they also had a radio, since they couldn't necessarily rely on the phones all the time while living on an isolated island. At any rate, they should start by contacting the police and receiving their instructions.
That must be my phone. I'll be back.
Oh good, she's getting the police call.
Everything else.
Someone's phone is working.
She's getting a direct call from Genji.
Hello, mistress. How are you today?
Anyway, get...
Hey, Saya, you want to take this one? Cause
Oh yeah, you're
Oh, yeah.
there.
Oh, okay.
I'm here.
No,
Oh, you're back?
she's
Alright.
okay.
Okay.
I was fast, goddess.
Dr. Najo. Is there anything more you can do here?
Unfortunately, there is nothing I can do.
Understood. Genji, could you at least cover their faces with something? Exposing them like this is humiliating to them as well.